This video highlights important aspects and useful habits related to all activities on centralized exchanges. Crypto Explain, everything you need to know to stay safe. Centralized exchanges are those that have their headquarters, management, employees, and operate like a classic business managed by appropriately qualified individuals. Their advantages include the ability to adapt to regional regulations in the areas where these exchanges operate, making their entire functionality legal and fully transparent. However, the downsides are the same as in the case of any other classic business created by people. When using their functionality, we must not forget about several important elements. The first of them is activating two-step account verification. This feature secures the login and fund withdrawal process with an additional one-time code provided during each significant operation, thereby avoiding the risk of unauthorized access. More on this can be found in a separate material on 2FA, which also includes installation and configuration instructions for the application. Without further ado, let's move on to the second aspect, which is the anti-phishing code. It's a special number set by you, always considered in all email correspondence sent to you by the exchange. Thanks to it, you can easily verify which messages actually come from the service you're using and which are just phishing attempts. On most platforms, you can configure such a code in the security settings. For example, you can currently see the settings available on the Binance Exchange screen, and I highly encourage you to define the code in this place. At the moment, you see an email sent by the BitGet exchange, where the code I set earlier appears in the header, and I know it's definitely an official message. The next element is the fund withdrawal after changing the password and logging in from a new device, which is usually suspended for a certain period. If you value time and want to do something quickly, it's worth avoiding situations where you reset your password and attempt to withdraw funds on a new device because it may simply fail. Depending on the platform, this can range from an hour to an additional 24 hours of waiting to protect against potential theft. Going further, another important point is keeping funds on the exchange. Remember that a centralized exchange is a private company controlled by people unknown to you, and like any company, it can have internal problems that we know nothing about. There have been numerous situations where exchanges went bankrupt overnight, were closed, or simply robbed. Therefore, keeping funds on the exchange should be a last resort, in a situation where you actually trade and use the exchange very intensively every day. If that's not the case, funds should always be stored on an external wallet because it is currently the safest solution available. And I have recorded 3 additional materials about the Ledger and Trezor wallets. Another point in this recording is leveraged trading. If you decide to use leverage, remember that you can make money several times faster, but correspondingly, you can also lose money several times faster. If you don't want your account to be wiped out, you should be really well prepared because leveraged trading is much more challenging than regular cryptocurrency buying. In a situation where you buy a cryptocurrency and its price starts to fall, you still own it and can sell it at any time, for example, when the price level returns to where you executed the transaction. On the other hand, if you place a leveraged order and the price moves in a direction opposite to the one you predicted, you will lose capital, and you won't have any cryptocurrency in your portfolio because leverage operates on completely different principles than traditional spot trading. Leverage is more like a bet on whether you will accurately predict the rise or fall in price, multiplied by an appropriate proportional factor, for example, times 10. The last point is to remember to select the correct network when making deposits and withdrawals, paying attention to whether any of the operations require an additional memo number. If omitted, or if the address is copied from a different network, our transfer may not reach its destination, or its confirmation may require additional contact with the exchange's support. Let's be honest, everyone wants to avoid unnecessary problems and delays. Therefore, in this case, it's worth being very precise and checking these details twice before clicking Confirm. Remembering these few rules will give you control over most matters that depend on you. If you want to have a complete picture of what aspects to pay attention to when dealing with a decentralized exchange, check out the second material on this topic. Good luck!